So we've had and seen a lot of laws being there, and these are essentially one of the more important laws as they can see. Uh, I think an important law which we must all know about is the Brandolini's law, or the BS asymmetric principle, as they say.
Let's just
To
say it.
paraphrase,
Bullshit. I mean, you need to
yeah.
say it. Say it. Bullshit.
No, I think whatever you say, I'm never going to say bullshit.
You just said it.
So the verbatim the law states, and it's very interesting and so relevant today, is that the amount of energy that is required to refute a bullshit is an order of magnitude bigger than to produce it. Interestingly, we see a lot of misinformation going these days on internet. X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, social networks of all magnitudes and size have had some version of BS playing out. So and so that these euphemisms or this misinformation have entered our homes as well. Health care, where humans are most vulnerable, this is most prevalent. And I would like to talk about a little example and very personal too, when my wife mentioned that, hey, there's a way you can increase your hair growth. And sorry, I mean, this doesn't fit. So,
I'm
yes,
taking it personally.
as I can say, we'll need more time to refute it. So you can increase your hair growth, and you can have your skin glow if you just stand on head, or there's a way you put your legs up towards the wall and stand upside down. Strange it seems, and yes, a person like me would have to try it. But then I read more about it, and it's crazy. It's this is not how it is supposed to be. The body adjusts when there is a change in posture. There are multiple functions of the body, and the muscular function, there's the skeletal function. They all run in when there is a change in posture. So, in a healthy human being, when you are sleeping, when you're standing, or when you are even upside down, the body will ensure that only the right amount of blood goes to head, to skin, wherever it's needed. It doesn't, we don't work in like if you stand upside down, more blood will go to your head and magically hair would start growing. It took me about
Yeah, by that logic, I would have a lot of hair on my feet, right? So
yeah. So but then it took me about 30 minutes to understand and explain comprehensively with examples that what she was telling us misinformation and peddling this misinformation. We all come across this all along our lives. Some things we agree to, some things we do not. But it is very important to know that when Brandolini's law is in effect, and we still must fight, and even if it takes more time, debunk the misinformation.
I think pretty relatable. I think if you really see the social media that you talked about, right, in today's world, that is one of the destructor element, if you ask me, right? Like, take any of the recent examples where something has happened, any riots or any of the things that is being suspected. So what is the first thing that is done by the administration? I think they simultaneous to applying the 144 section, the other step is to cut down the internet services, right? That's a step that is always taken. So you can always see the extent it could have, even the mob and other things and other stuff that we have seen. So really, this the energy it takes, right? If something goes for a toss, it's far more than the original things to do it. And even if you see any of the things, the cheating and the fraud and other aspects, the more we have gone digital, the more cases of this cheating fraud has increased in the society, right? I still remember one of my personal experience where I met a tour operator, and I was given a voucher, a booking voucher and all, where it was a land package. And when I landed with my family, it came out to be a fake voucher, right? So just imagine. And this is a real example of mine, wherein you've invested your money, your time and everything, and with your family you have landed it into an alien land, and there you are showing a voucher wherein the respective the property owner and everyone representative denies there isn't anything, and it was even the registration number, the logo and everything. So and it was a 5-day tour. Literally, it was the we always now have a joke around it. That's the worst time we ever had, wherein you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do next, you don't know all those channels, and that's in the foreign land. So somewhere this has increased the cheating and other cases. And when I talked across there, there were a lot of interesting instances, because one of the thing, if we talk about India, there is very less monitoring or the punishable aspects of it, right? Like this tour and tourism, and then I'm quoting that thing, that's the most corrupt industry that I have seen these days, wherein with all these digital aggregators coming, you must have seen booking.com and every places, wherein you can cancel your booking 2 days or 3 days before that. So look, I had a confirmation number, and that tour operator just canceled the booking, wherein he got the full refund. So all this leads to the cases where he must have just produced, right? He have just taken a copy of it and just attached my name and shared it with me and added that number. But somewhere the repercussions it had for me were far wider and far more extensive. So that was not a good time, if I call it out.
And probably there are signs of this in every sphere of our lives, where misinformation and how easily you can templatize something for a particular use case and slap it somewhere else and make lives of the individuals difficult. And to debunk that, it would take a monumental effort. So yeah, I think those are very relevant examples that you guys have shared. And yeah, I think this, and that's why when I was reading through this law, I was thinking this would be quite a fascinating conversation to hear about the examples that you guys have had. And yeah, completely second that.
Yeah. Interesting that this is one of the newest laws.
So if you ask me, right, so I'll tell you what, I think people have gained a lot of confidence in delivering bullshit. Okay, so the way they actually deliver that kind of information, you're almost convinced that guy is, okay, maybe he has some substance, and then maybe we need to probably verify what he's talking about, he or she, whatever it is. So in my area, I've definitely seen in sustainability a lot of crap being thrown around. Right? I mean, what plastic is good and what plastic is not good, and metallic straws and bamboo straws and stuff like that, and paper napkins and how much damage it causes and stuff like that. I mean, without data, none of this is actually supported with any kind of evidence. And I think over a period of time, when I have become a student of STEM, I have actually started to detest all of these theories which have come about, whether it's in pharma, in food industry, in health industry, how to lower your BP, how to reverse your diabetes, and so many crazy means and trials of doing that you're not even sure that if you want to even refute them or if you want to prove them wrong, it would probably end up damaging your own self, right? So yeah, I mean, so the conviction with which they deliver that bullshit is
Misinformation is
amazing.
being spread. Yeah,
Yeah,
completely agree
and
on that.
the whole, and I really appreciate what the government did with the law for the finfluencers, right? The ones who talk about finance and investment and stuff. I have seen so much bullshit been thrown around there that invest here, invest there. Why not buy this? Why not buy that? And again, they talk in such a manner that, I mean, it's a God-gifted skill to lie that confidently. But I think that law was required. There are very few good finfluencers who make sense and who talk well. There have been so many reels around whether you should choose the next new tax regime or not, whether you should invest in LIC or fixed deposit or just go all out equity or mutual funds and stuff like that. All these recommendations coming around, I mean, I don't know. So I think the best people can do is find their source of income and find out whether they have actually earned money that way or actually by delivering the bullshit. So yeah, this law has been prevalent for the longest amount of time now. It needs to. I mean, I think it's going to be around for much longer than we can even handle.
Yes. Again, the amount of time you would need to debunk the theory of the influencers or health influencers is going to be monumentally more than for them to say so or do
Create
so.
that kind of bullshit. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also with the if misinformation is getting spread, that just reinforces your personal biases. And I think you're more inclined to anyway kind of follow or follow those influencers or follow that kind of news, which is, I think anyway, it's kind of becoming a bit of a how should I say, quite irritating. And there is a lot of polarization, and there's a lot of, and it depends, like the whole when you're reading a certain piece of news, it's not about the content, it's about the backing or the funding that that organization that has, and that article would probably be written in a way that reinforces that thought process. And if you are of that same thinking, then you're more inclined to keep on listening to the same kind of content, keep on listening to that same kind of, keep on reading the same kind of news articles, and just kind of reinforces it. And so yeah, I think it's probably too much to expect a sense of responsibility from, and I think that is a challenge of our times. And like every times and every eras have had some challenges, be it wars or be it uh, economic challenges and things like that. I think this is the challenge of our generation, where there is a lot of misinformation, there is a lot of influence from digital media, and how can we kind of stay in check and yeah kind of counter the bullshit law, the bullshit